After the fire, there was only a chilling silence. Amidst the wasteland of ash, a heartbreaking sob echoed, awakening an ancient, long-dormant instinct. It wasn't the instinct to hunt, but an emotion that transcended all laws of survival. In the endless expanse of Kadipo, where the sun once painted the tall grasslands golden, only a gray hue of ash and death remained. The scorching heat of a brutal wildfire still lingered in the air, carried by every dry gust of wind. The landscape was desolate, numb with grief. Towering acacia and oak trees were now nothing but charred torches, reaching their bare, skeletal branches toward the ashen sky. The once vibrant savanna had become a giant cemetery. The ground was cracked, like an open wound bleeding, swallowing every trace of life. The smell of smoke and death hung in the air, creating a mournful, agonizing symphony. This was no longer a kingdom of life, but a land of shadows and despair. And there, in the desolate field, where the embers still glowed faintly, was a figure of profound sorrow. A small, trembling baby gorilla clung to its mother's lifeless body. The mother gorilla's black fur was seared in some places. Her eyes were closed, her face serene yet cold. Her arms were still wrapped tightly around her child, as if in a final act of protection before she died. The baby gorilla sobbed and cried out, but received only silence. Its pain was the pain of a creature that had suddenly lost everything. The baby's cries shattered the stillness, sounding like a hopeless prayer. It didn't cry from hunger, nor from fear, but from an infinite sorrow. This pain transcended species, becoming a universal lament for all living things struggling to survive in this ravaged world. In that moment, it was no longer mother and child, but two lonely souls facing nature's cruelty. One was gone, and the other was slowly dying of loneliness. Its life, a book whose first page had just been turned, was now torn out and buried in the ashes. The scorching sun painted the scorched treetops golden, signaling another hot and arid day. But for the baby gorilla, time seemed to have stopped. It remained there, next to its mother's body, small and alone, like a great question mark before nature's hopelessness. Suddenly, from a distance, a roar echoed, cutting through the silence. It was the powerful roar of a dominant male lion. He approached, leading two lionesses from his pride. His black mane stood out against the gray ground, creating a powerful yet terrifying image. The baby gorilla heard the footsteps and looked up. Its eyes met the gaze of the king of the savannah. Fear surged within it, but it was too weak to run. A lion is a predator. He is the terror of the entire land. Instinct told the baby that its life was about to end. But then, something unexpected happened. The male lion didn't growl or charge. He stopped, lowered his head, and cautiously sniffed the mother gorilla's body. A few burn marks on her body told the story of her struggle for survival. The lion glanced at the burns, then turned to look at the baby gorilla. His eyes, usually cold and wild, now held a stillness that was unsettling. In the lion's eyes, there was no hunger. What flickered in those amber irises was something strange, something that transcended instinct. It was awareness. He saw the weakness, the helplessness of a creature that was not prey. He saw the pain. He stared into the baby gorilla's blank eyes and recognized something familiar. He remembered the cries of a lost lion cub during the wildfire, and then the deadly silence that followed. He realized that the baby gorilla's pain was his pain, the pain of this entire forest. In that moment, he was no longer a predator, but a survivor, a witness to the cruelty. Compassion, an emotion that humans believe to be exclusively their own, had taken root in the heart of the king of the savannah. The male lion lifted his head and let out a soft growl. It wasn't the roar of a predator, but a command. The two lionesses in his pride stopped, surprised to see their leader's behavior. They were accustomed to his brutal hunting instincts, but today, the male lion was showing an unprecedented action. He wouldn't allow them to approach and harm the baby gorilla. One of the lionesses let out a low snarl, showing her confusion and disagreement. However, a sharp look from the male lion silenced any thought of defiance. He had made his final decision. He paced back and forth around the baby gorilla a few times, as if contemplating something. Finally, he made a strange choice. The male lion turned and walked away, leaving the mother gorilla's body behind. But instead of heading back toward his territory, he moved in a different direction, toward the scent of humans. The two lionesses, though perplexed, silently followed. This was an anomaly, a choice that couldn't be explained by any law of nature. The male lion was leading the way, but who was he leading, and to where? The soft growl of the male lion was not a threat, but an invitation, a whisper of hope. He had realized an important truth. He couldn't help the baby gorilla. A lion cannot feed a gorilla, nor can he protect it from other dangers. Only another species, one that he always avoided, could do that. He was taking a huge gamble, overcoming his fear and natural instincts to seek help from humans. He trusted that, just like him, humans also possess compassion and kindness. He was risking his own safety and that of his pride, all to save a creature that was a complete stranger to him. This was not just an act of compassion, but an act of trust, a belief that kindness still exists in this world, no matter how cruel it may be. His journey was not a search for food, but a search for hope. Meanwhile, in another area, the park ranger Sarah was still dealing with the aftermath of the fire. The smell of smoke clung to her clothes, and sorrow lingered in her eyes. Kadipo was her home, and she had witnessed too much loss. Every charred tree, every vanished animal footprint felt like a stab to her heart. She drove slowly along the trail, silently praying for the surviving creatures. Suddenly, a large, dark figure appeared right in front of her car. It was the male lion. Instinctively, Sarah tightened her grip on the steering wheel. She had experience dealing with wild animals, but facing a fierce male lion like this was a different matter. She was ready to hit the gas and flee, but then she noticed something strange. The lion wasn't growling or acting aggressively. He stood blocking the road, looking straight at her, then let out a short, soft growl, as if trying to communicate something. Sarah lowered her car window a little, tense but curious. She carefully observed every gesture of the lion. His eyes weren't cold. He growled again, then turned and walked slowly, occasionally looking back to check if she was following. A spark lit up in her mind. This was not a confrontation. This was an invitation. This strange request made her heart pound. Her gut feeling told her that this lion needed help. Ignoring all caution and her initial fear, Sarah decided to follow. Her heart pounded. It was a gamble, a risky decision, but something inside her said she had to do it. She had already witnessed too much loss. She couldn't refuse an offer that might bring hope. The journey was short but tense. The lion walked ahead, leading the way. Sarah followed, her car rolling slowly over the dry ground. He didn't walk too fast, occasionally stopping to look at her meaningfully. It was as if he understood that she was facing a great deal of doubt. Her trust in a wild predator was rewarded when he led her to a clearing. A scene that took Sarah's breath away. The pain and loss of the forest now became heartbreakingly clear. She saw the mother gorilla's body, and next to it, the baby gorilla, trembling and exhausted. Its fur was still covered in ash, and its innocent eyes looked directly at her, as if begging for a miracle. Sarah rushed out of the car. Her heart clenched. She understood. She understood why the lion had led her here. In that moment, she saw not only the survival of a small creature, but also the boundless kindness of a wild animal. She quickly lifted the baby gorilla into her car. Touching its trembling body, she felt its warmth, its life, however faint. She placed it in a soft blanket and began to treat its wounds. Throughout the process, the pride of lions watched from distance. They didn't growl or do anything to hinder her. As Sarah's car began to move, the male lion sat down and watched. He let out a gentle growl, not a roar of power, but an emotional growl. Then he stood up, turned away, and led his pride back to their territory.
Thank goodness.
Sarah drove away, tears in her eyes. She suddenly understood. In that moment, The lion had not chosen his predatory instincts. He had chosen compassion. He had chosen to protect life instead of destroying it. This story isn't just about survival. It's about trust and kindness. In that moment, the lion chose to protect life instead of destroying it, to send a simple yet profound message. Even in the wild, where life and death are separated by a mere heartbeat, kindness always exists. The story of this lion is not only a living testament to the existence of compassion in the wild, but also a reminder to ourselves. The boundary between species is just an illusion, and the only thing that truly matters is the connection of compassion. If you were inspired by this extraordinary story, please share this video with a friend who might need a little hope today. And to not miss out on other emotional stories about kindness, the extraordinary nature of the wild, and the people who are quietly protecting this world, please subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications. Have you ever witnessed any stories of unexpected kindness in the animal world? Let me know in the comments below.